Okay, let's turn to Senate District 14. Incumbent Senator is Luther Olsen. He's being challenged by the mayor of Waupaca. I pick up vibes that people didn't think this one could be potentially as close as it's going to be. What's your reading?
Well, you look at it, I think Republicans have held this seat since the Civil War. So it's not one that you go, okay, there's a swing seat. And that's part of the problem for Democrats this entire cycle in the Senate. They're playing on generally Republican territory. These seats lean Republican, other than the 18th, which, quite frankly, in an off year, it's a much better Republican seat than it is in a presidential year. But the other ones, they're all decent Republican seats. There aren't ones you would think a Dem should pick up.
I don't like the term gas tax because I think it's more of a user fee type thing. And when I call it a user fee, that means it's being specifically used for what it was meant to be used for. And I think that people that use the roads more should pay more. I think we have to remember too that some vehicles are harder on our roads and our infrastructure, and I believe that those people should actually pay more because they are putting more and wear and tear on our roads. The other thing that we forget about transportation too is that when we're not building roads and we're not doing infrastructure, people aren't working, you know, those people in that area. And those are good paying benefit jobs that we rely on in Wisconsin.
I honestly think you're going to have to raise some revenue because the borrowing thing, you know, if you borrow, if you're only building it once, so you build a house or whatever, you borrow and you pay for it. But you don't have to build a new house every year, you know, so you can borrow, but when you have to continue to fix roads and things like this, you have to pay with cash. As far as delaying projects, we can delay them, but it will cost more. Every time we delay a project, you know, the road deteriorates more and it costs more to fix it. So I think, in my estimation, we need to look at raising revenue. I was fortunate enough to sit on a committee for National Commission of State Legislators that looked at international education. And most countries who do better than we do spend less than we do, but they do some things different than we do, and I think we really need to look at that to make sure that we're spending our money in the right place, because you can always throw more money at something, but if you don't get the response, then it was just throwing money at it.
I also believe that what's happening with monies that are being used to pay for voucher schools, if
That's $246 million a year.
If that was put back into the public schools where it belongs, we wouldn't need to raise it, and we might be able to not raise it as much as we had in the past. So the voucher schools obviously are a big strain on our state, and I can't imagine that our state, like any other state, can handle having two school systems that we pay for.
Do you want to remove the income limitations on voucher choice in the next budget, sir?
Do I want to? No.
No.
This program was really designed for families who have low income that can't afford to go to a private school with their parents paying the way. I don't think it was designed for a check in every backpack so that no matter where you go, no matter how much you make, we pay for that, because I think it's impossible to pay for two quality education systems in the state.
It should be increased. 725 has been there for quite a while. I agree that it should be increased. I am not in favor of one number fits all. I think we have to be very careful when we talk about minimum wage too, that we don't price ourselves out of the position where our employers no longer feel that they can supply benefits to our employees too.
Supply and demand works for that. I think that companies who need employees pay more than that. If you can hire folks for that amount, it's probably because they're low skilled and really they move up the ladder. If we need more money for the UW system, I'm very willing to look at that to make sure it goes in the right way, in the right areas, so that we don't make it hard for kids to graduate on time, because that has a negative effect on the students and the economy and everything.
if they're asking for that amount of money to continue the great education that Wisconsin has, I would have to say that I agree with it in opinion. I would have to look at the whole picture to make sure that that's the case.
Sponsors for Wisconsinize 2016 campaign coverage: Wisconsin Hospital Association, Wisconsin Counties Association, Wisconsin League of Municipalities, 5 Nines IT Solutions, AT&T Wisconsin,